All right, hey everyone. Oh, there we go. Hi everybody. I'm Amani Manning. I'm at Common App. I do student engagement typically. Often that looks like this, walking through the Common App and just kind of talking about what the first year application looks like. That's what we're going to be doing today. This deck has about 40-ish slides. It shouldn't take us too long, but if you have any questions throughout, please feel free to ask. There are some changes coming to the Common App. Nothing crazy, um, nothing like out of this world or anything, but there are a few like different visual things which we'll talk about. Um, Again, if you have any questions throughout the deck, please feel free to ask. We can stop and talk about them. But if there are no questions to start, I'd love to kick this thing off. Are we good to go, Kate? Or
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, please go on.
all right, let's go into it. And you all can see my see the deck.
Yes, no problem.
Okay, perfect. All right. So this is our Common App student engagement team, our student programs team to be more specific. You can see me there on the right, Monty Manning, engagement associate. And again, that just means I'm pretty much doing student engagement, walking through the Common App, college fairs, coming to different high schools, just talking about what the Common App actually is and what the first year experience on the Common App is like. Um, Today, what we'll talk about specifically is we'll talk about the overarching community of Common App. It can be pretty expansive, but we're going to try to focus in on just first year application experience. We'll talk a little bit about how we approach the application, and I'll show you kind of what it looks like on the inside of the application. If you haven't made an account already, we can kind of talk about what that looks like there. After that, we'll talk about some tools that you can use, various tools, social media tools, tools on our website, like commonapp.org tools. And then we'll save some time for some questions. All right, so let's talk a little about the Common App community. Common App is an online application platform. That is the first and foremost thing you need to understand. It's not a college, it is an application platform. What it's supposed to be is a one-stop shop for all of you to apply to multiple colleges at one time. We have over 1,000 colleges on the application, and essentially it allows you to apply to all of those colleges in one place. So bygone are the days where you've had to go to multiple colleges' websites or mail multiple colleges or email multiple colleges in various places. What Common App does is pretty much makes it succinct to one place so you can fill out all of your personal information, your grades, and then apply it to pretty much every school you want to go to. Again, there's over 1,000 options. Um, what's a little bit more new at Common App is we've started to build out the financial aid and scholarship information. Um, Gives you a lot more opportunity to get some ideas about what affordability looks like for college, and also find some scholarships with some scholarship matching. And all this can be found at commonapp.org. That's like home base. So if you don't know where to start, you can just search up Common App, go to commonapp.org, and you'll be good to go. All right. Each year, more than 1 million students, a third of whom are first generation, apply to college through Common App. We just like to highlight that because it is one of our points to get more first generation students on Common App. Over the past few years, we've definitely been moving towards doing that, and we hope to continue that pace. That's said so that everyone understands that this is a place for everyone to be included and apply to college. We don't want like language or cost or any crazy boundary to stop people from applying to college. We want people to understand that there are opportunities and there are places that are a great fit to you, and those can be found on Common App. Um, as of last year, we had over 1,000 members. This number will be getting updated in the next few months. 300 plus of those members are public, and 600 plus charge no application fee, period. So 600 colleges and universities on our application are absolutely free to apply to. And while the universities set the application fee, 600 plus of them on our application do not charge anything. We are in all 50 states. We are in DC and Puerto Rico, and we have 50 plus international members in 15 plus countries. So you have a little bit of wiggle room to apply outside the country. while obviously most of our institutions are inside the US, we do have some options internationally. All this information can be found on the Common App Explore page, and that's just commonapp.org/explore. Um, you can search to your heart's content and find some good matches there. If you don't know where you want to go, that's a great place to start. It's a great place to get some basic information on colleges, be it location, be it size, be it individual mission. Anything you want to know about that college can pretty much be found on our College Explore page. Again, great place to start, fun place to start. We also have some virtual tours in that space as well. All right. Um, Before we get a little too far into the comment up, I want to talk briefly about Tell Your Story and the Reach Pathfinder. So what we've done is we've created this Reach approach, research, explore, apply, confirm, and hone. And what it's supposed to help students do is get through the application process. We understand that it's a lot of things happening at a million miles a minute. And so we've kind of tried to map out some key points and key things to focus on. So like in the research phase, we start to think a little bit about match, specifically academic match and financial match. We think, we try to like think about fit in that space as well. So trying to find a good place that can be a good home for you. We want everybody to go somewhere where they can thrive. And so we think with proper research that can be done. We've also defined every single one of these terms in English and Spanish. So if you scan this QR code that's on the far right, you can get a exacerbated list of all of these terms defined. I also like to use this list to talk to like parents and counselors as well, because it kind of defines words and level sets it in a way that sometimes going to college can be confusing. So with a tool like this, you can kind of bring the conversation in and make it more personal and make it more one-to-one. You can level set, as people say. Um, One of the burgeoning things that's always a topic on this Pathfinder is early action versus early decision versus regular decision. Applications kind of happen in cycles. And so we'll dive into that in a little bit, but all these terms on here are defined. You could take it one day at a time. You can grab a few every day. All of these terms are defined though. So take some time to look through this and kind of familiarize yourself with it. The more familiar you are with these terms, the more in the know you'll be about applying to college. I personally think a tool like this would have made it a lot easier as I was trying to budget, as I was trying to apply to the right college or colleges. All these terms will be terms you run into. And if you stay in academia, like people will be using these terms often. So, take a whirl around this resource. It's a pretty good one. We spent a considerable amount of time trying to make it understandable and easy to read through. So it's just something to consider. So let's talk more about the decisions. Earlier, I mentioned early action versus early decision versus regular decision. So in your common application, when you apply, you'll have to apply for a certain semester, and then it'll ask you for which application deadline you want to apply for. So early action is pretty much like your regular decision, except it happens earlier in the year. Normally, this happens in early September or October. It just depends on the university. But you can apply early action to as many schools as you want. There are some upsides to applying early action, meaning like there will be less applicants in the applicant pool. And also it can show a university that you're more interested in them. So early action means you're applying early to the school. I applied early action when I went for undergrad because I just really wanted to be kind of done with it, if I'm honest. It was giving me a lot of feelings is the word I'll use. So go ahead, if you have a chance to do that, take a chance to apply early. Give me 1 second. Oh yeah, we'll get to FERPA in a little bit. The difference though between early action and early decision is that early decision is a binding decision, meaning if you apply early decision, the university is going to expect you to come there. Generally, this early decision is used for one university that you really, 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 really want to go to. So if you have one place on your heart of hearts, like early decision is the way to go. It is binding, so the university will be expecting you to come there. So if you're gonna apply early decision, Understand that you're making a commitment to that university when you apply. If they accept you, they're expecting you to come. So early action is a little bit different than early decision being binding. Finally, you have regular decision. Again, it just depends on the university. Some of these deadlines are in early January, some of them are in March, and then some schools even have rolling admissions, which kind of goes on a cyclical basis throughout the whole academic year from August to May 1st. So you have a lot of options when it comes to regular decision. No need to feel rushed or barred with that one. Just understand that you have 3 different application deadlines. And when you're selecting schools, make sure that you're selecting the proper semester that you want to enroll in and the proper decision deadline that you want to enroll in. So those are 3 different types. Just something to kind of be aware of as you start picking schools and applying. Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about the application. So this is the commonapp.org website. It's got a little bit of a revamp in the last few months. As you can see at the very top, we have space for counselors and teachers and for colleges and universities. Really for students is going to be the find colleges part, the plan for colleges part, the apply to college and paying for college. All of those tabs will have a plethora of information about going to college. We have essential more walkthrough information, literally from finding a school to applying to school to enrolling at the school. We have affordability information, i.e. FAFSA, i.e. scholarships. Whole plethora of information can be found on this website. So if you're like lost in the process or haven't even started, a good place to start is just on our website. Come there, get some information. There's information for counselors, information for families, information for everybody. In addition, you can start your application here and create an account. That's the most important part. The account is separate from the website. So to open up a different page, it's a different functionality, obviously. The account is really your personal thing. And so you can get to that account on this page though. In addition, we also have a mobile app in the App Store. Works just the same as the web page or the application on the internet. They're pretty high in parity, pretty one-to-one. You can upload all your documents. You can write your essays on there if you want to. Pretty much all the same, and it can be found in your app stores, in your Google Play stores, everywhere where there are apps. Again, all the information is there. It's really made for your convenience with one-to-one parity. Not going to spend too much time on the app. So this is also another way to get started. If you don't have an account, you can scan this QR code and it'll take you to that page where you would have hit create an account. When you create an account, 2 things here. Firstly, make sure that you're using a personal email address to create an account. This is your personal account. So make a nice professional personal email if you don't have one. If you do have one, great, use that. And you're going to want to hit first year student. Since you all will be applying for first year, that's where you want to go. As you can see, there's a transfer student application. There's an education professional application. What's not really application, it's more of a functionality. And then there's just information for parents or other adults. Yeah, so when you do this, make sure you're hitting first year student and you're using a personal email address, not your school email. All right, personal, PERSONAL, personal. All right. One thing I want to talk to you all about, since we are having this session in July, we have account rollover. So a few things stay the same. Pretty much all the important stuff will roll over. Some things do not though. So let's just get into that real quick. What will always remain the same, no matter what, unless you change it, is your username and password. Unless you change it, it will always remain the same, period, bar none, no questions asked. Okay. Once you get into the app though, there are going to be some things that don't roll over year to year and some things that do. As of August 1st, every year, we kind of refresh and relaunch the application. That gives our colleges and universities opportunity to update their information and for us to make any adjustments we need to make. But after August 1st, this is what will stay, will be your college list. So every school that you pick and one on your college list that you intend to apply to, it will stay. Also, all of your information, which is the heaviest lift I feel like on this application, is like putting in your profile information, your education, your activities, your courses and grades, your family information, your testing and your writing, all the stuff that takes the most time, I think. That will roll over. So if you have like free time this summer, aka everybody, start filling out all this information. So by the time August comes and you're getting ready to apply, you only have a few things to do. Um, if you start filling out this basic information now, you save yourself time. This rollover of this basic information is what makes Common App so special. This is the common part. If you don't do it like this, if you go to each website, each university's website, and it's up to you, but if you go to each university's website, you're gonna have to fill that information out every single time. And I'm telling you, like, it's not a fun time to do that. It's your choice, but you can save a lot of time doing it just like this in one place. So this information will stay. What will also stay is advisor invitations, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But that's everything that will stay. What will not stay, and I can tell you why each thing won't stay. College specific questions. So certain universities have additional questions that they'd like to gather information from students. So that's going to change year to year. So that information will not roll over year to year. So after August 1st, you will see newly populated questions from universities and colleges. Some will have additional essays called supplementary essays as well. That we can talk about that a little bit later, but that's all a college specific question technically. Also, you're gonna have to do a FERPA release every year. That's a legal thing, nothing to do with us. That's so that schools can get information about you. And then your recommender invitations. And we'll talk a little bit more about advisor versus recommender later. But you're gonna have to get for if you do have letters of recommendation, you're gonna want to do that again after August 1st. Okay. One of the big things at Common App is we try to make the application process affordable. So it's this thing can be expensive, right? Let's just say it like plainly. It can be expensive. Application fees can be expensive. So we've tried to create a way for students to have free applications. Um, we have a fee waiver that is universal. If you fit any of the criteria on the left here, ACT, SAT fee waiver, federal, state, or local program like Avid, Europe, or Trio, your family receives public assistance. Any of these criteria you can select inside your application, and your applications will all be free. The fee will be waived essentially. There will be no charge. In addition to that, if you do not meet any of that criteria, we again have 600 plus universities, colleges, and universities that don't charge any application fee. So that gives each of you an opportunity to apply somewhere for free, somewhere, and should take advantage of it. Even if you don't qualify for the fee waiver, take advantage of the opportunity to apply to colleges and universities for free. It can get really expensive really fast. Ask someone if you don't know. But I think this is a really important slide. So I'm just going to pause for about 5 seconds and let y'all read the criteria. And again, this information can be found on our Explore page and our financial aid page. So I'm just going to pause like for 5 seconds and let y'all just take this in. Just okay, let's keep going. So this is what our new and refreshed first year application looks like. I feel like it's a bit more bubbly, a little more personality to it. There are now like green checks instead of just saying completed. It's a lot more like visually friendly. Also, it takes up the space a bit better and works better with different screen sizes. I know y'all might not know, like, but before it just wasn't expanding in the proper ways. Um, but now we have the bar on the side as well as the main page in the middle. This is just your personal information. This is something what's being modeled here, something that will roll over. I would say once you create your account, go ahead and start filling out this information. As you can see, one of the things that's Common App fee waiver. That's where you can elect in and see if you qualify for that fee waiver. But all of this information on the profile and my common application part, all of this information rolls over. This is the heavy lift. This is the common part. This is the part that knock it out as soon as you can so you can have the like fun of actually applying to schools. Um, it is essential to fill out your basic profile information because that's also how we calibrate our direct admissions and our scholarship matching, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this. But it is essential to fill out that information as soon as possible. As soon as you make your account, I would just spend like I don't know how much time, but I would just spend the time to fill that out. Just one fell swoop, woo, easy, done. And you never have to do it again. So just put it on, do it, finish it up. Um, if you create an account, if you create an account today, I don't think it looks like this quite yet, but it will look like this in the next few weeks for everyone. So just give it a second. Nothing, it won't break. It's not going to break if you create the account today or anything. It'll update on its own. But if you do create an account today and it doesn't look like this, it will in the next few weeks. So that's what it will look like. Yeah, let's move along. Okay. What I just showed you before was your my common application tab. What I'm showing you now is your dashboard. This is where your colleges are. You can also college search from here, but this is where your college list will be on your dashboard. It'll tell you the progress of your application, and then you can see where it says add your term or admission plan. That's so you can say when you want to go there for which term and which date you want to apply for. What I want to bring your attention to specifically on this slide is the bottom left of this. This is where you can tune your settings. You can sign out of your application. And you can also, this is where your name and your Common App ID will be. Your Common App ID is unique to you. That's what CAID means. Is your Common App ID is unique to you. And if you ever have a question about the functionality of your Common App or something happens, somebody will probably ask you what your Common App ID is, and that is where it can be found in the bottom left of your dashboard on the left tab. As you can see on this dashboard, this is also where direct admissions offers will land once you select them, and we'll talk a little bit more about direct admissions later. But this is also where those will be. You can toggle this dashboard also by name and by a few other functions. So it's not just stuck like this. In addition, the details that drop down from here are like the location, all the contact information for the university, size of the school, the virtual tool link will be there. So all the basic information about the university can be found on your dashboard. And this is also how you get into the application for that specific university. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the writing section. So there are 7 different essay prompts to choose from. There's a 650 word limit. I would say take your time with it. There's no reason to let the essay stress you out. It's just really about you. You get an opportunity to talk to some admissions professional about yourself. We have 7 different topics. The 7th being a topic of your choice. So you get a lot of opportunities to write about what you want to write about. Again, you can talk about personal growth or facing adversity, even a challenging idea or an intellectual curiosity. There are a lot of ways to go about this. And I think the sooner you start writing, the easier it'll be. So just take the time to start thinking about it. It's only 650 words. And get a good essay. If you need help, there are plenty of resources online. These essay prompts have been here for a while, so there's good opportunity to do that here. All right. This next slide is about the activity section. Again, this is what the older UI looked like, user interface looked like. It's going to be obviously a different shade of blue and a little bit more like full, but that's just a side note. The important part here is about the activity section. You can report up to 10 activities. And what you want to do is just estimate the amount of time that you're spending in each activity. Activities are like, what are you doing in your free time? Arts, club, music, sport, work experience, volunteer experience, sports, hobbies, all the family responsibilities, even all of those things that you are doing with your time aside from school. Um, Universities and admission counselors really want to see this here. They're really interested to see who students are, who you all are. And so this gives them a chance to get a little peek into it. Um, I would say if you have more than 10 activities, I would say you kind of prioritize what you've been doing the longest, what you've gotten an award in, maybe. And then if there's any leadership opportunities in those orgs, in those activities, I would say put those higher on the list. I think another important thing to note here is if at that last question on the bottom right asks, I intend to participate in a similar activity in college, I think it's very important to demonstrate that interest if that's something you want to do. Not only will it show the admissions counselor like something about you and what you intend to do on their campus, it will also like help you think about fit and if this university has the types of things that I want to do when I get to that university. So if you're like really, really into Disney and they have like a Disney club, and you're in a Disney club now, you know, like an animation club even. These are types of things that people want to see and know about you all. So this is the place to kind of speak to that. Yeah, so you'll get a chance to describe the activity and talk about it. I see we have a question. Student uses the same common app account. Meg, to answer your question, if you're so this application that we're talking about right now is just for first year students. If you decide to transfer, you'll need to make a transfer application and use a transfer portal. A few slides back on the create an account, there were multiple options of what kind of account you wanted to create it. It was first year, transfer, education professional. If you want to transfer, you need to use transfer. So it'd be a bit of a different complication, different application all the way. Okay, let's keep going. We have added a new question about responsibilities and circumstances. We really just want insight into the the time you all are spending and like the circumstances that are shaping like your journey in life. We want to know about your extracurricular activities, and we just want to know like what are your household responsibilities and circumstances, and what kind of impact are those having on your student journey. Again, this is a pretty expansive list of things that can happen. It's okay to have none of these things, and it's okay to have an other one of these things. We'll ask you to describe the other, though. Again, this just helps us understand and build a full profile of each of you so we understand who all is applying. We want this to be unique, as unique as possible. So that's why we've created this question. And it's okay if you, in your activity section, if you noted something there, it's okay to repeat it here. Again, that's fine to do. If you haven't noted it in another section, that's also fine. We just wanted to create this opportunity to get this information from you all so we can paint a more accurate picture of each individual student. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time here, but when you come on this, when you see this question, just know like this is what it's about. Okay. Standardized testing tab. Self-report your test scores here. You can toggle it on and off for each university. If their test scores are required, you will not be able to submit the application until you report those test scores. If they are not required, you will be able to submit without reporting those test scores. For each common application that you submit, your common app information will remain the same. What makes it different is like the small details of like your standardized test. So each time you submit an application to a school on the Common App website on the Common App application, you will have to submit it individually. Your information will populate on its own, but you will have to submit each one individually. So you apply to North Carolina A&T, hit apply, boom, done. You apply to North Carolina State University, apply, boom, done. Each one is individual. The good part is that that information that's rolling over that we talked about before stays the same. You may also be asked to answer some supplementary questions or additional questions for each university. Just keep that in mind. But again, your test scores here are self-submitted, self-reported. And it's again from ACT, SAT to AB and IB courses. All these things can be submitted here. Okay. This is what your My Colleges tabs look like. Again, all the college information is here. As you can look on the right of this and see the early action deadline and then the rolling admission deadline, as well as the regular decision deadline. All of that information is housed here. You'll have to release your FERPA so that you can get recommendations. And then you can invite, and this is where you'll invite and assign recommenders. So some universities and some colleges require letters of recommendation. This is the page where you do it at, where you invite those individuals. How you invite them is you literally just type in their email address in the invitee space, and it'll send them an email. It'll ask them to create an account and upload your letter of recommendation, and it's literally that easy. I would say the email thing is very case sensitive, so make sure you're typing in the email address properly. This is also, if they ask you for supplementary essays, it will be in your My Colleges tab. This is the final place that you'll see, and this is where you'll apply for. If you have submitted an application through Common App and you have a question about the application, after you submit the application, you need to contact the university. So this is also where that information will be for the university. If you want to email them or call them, this is where that information will be. Finally, there's a link for the admissions office, as well as a virtual tour if you want to see what it looks like. Yeah, that's a lot of information, but it's all right here on the My Colleges tab, very centrally located. Let me see something. Oh, I don't know if y'all use Naviance, that might be a little bit different. We'll come back to that later. When we submit SAT scores, do we submit our highest reading and writing scores? I believe it's super score, so you can submit each one. It's going to ask you to submit each one individually. So yeah, it's going to ask you to submit each one individually because it's self-reported, and then it'll ask you for the score report later. Okay. Okay, well then I believe that becomes, if the college doesn't super score, they will reach out to you for your score report. But in this application, I would submit through this application, I would submit the scores, my highest scores. But if the college doesn't super score, I'm sure they'll reach out to you. Is there a separate tab to submit supplementals under the My Colleges? Yes, there is a separate tab. It'll just be here. It'll be in this tab for supplemental questions for each school. Yeah. It'll be in this general information, writing, family, contacts information. We'll have to cross that. We will come back to the Naviance question because I need a little bit of help. That's a little bit outside of my purview. So we'll table that one for now. We'll come back in a few slides because we're almost done. Okay, so just a little bit more about the recommender types. Again, this is for letters of recommendation. This is not the same as an advisor. So some schools ask for letters of recommendation. It could be a counselor, teacher, other recommender, or an advisor. Any of these people can submit a letter of recommendation for you. The system, again, works through email. So what you'll do is literally just type in the person's email that you want and use it. But if y'all use Naviance and it's someone at your school, then letters of recommendation might work a little bit different. So we'll come back to that. But typically what you'll do is just invite them through the application, but there is some parity. We'll just come back to that. We'll come back to that. Let's talk a little bit about financial aid and then direct admissions, and then we'll talk again about the parity between Naviance and Common App. Okay, so financial aid, we have a lot of affordability links now. And by affordability, I mean like affording going to school. So FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. That's through the federal government. So the links in our application will take you to their website. They have a lot of information about affording college, a lot of videos, a lot of help for your parents and other people who will have to submit information. We have information about student loans and work study as well on our application. All of this information that we have on our application comes from the federal government. We do not control this or make any of it up. This is again from the Department of Education. So this information in this tab, specifically the financial aid and FAFSA, will link you to the federal government Department of Education's website. You can also find links to your state and local state grant agencies that have more local financial aid on this page as well. A new thing we've just added a few years ago is scholarship matching. Again, once you fill out your profile, education, and activity section on the Common App, you will start getting matches for scholarships. They will show you the deadline for the application for the app for the scholarship, as well as how much the scholarship is for. Again, this is not super complex. It happens automatically and refreshes on a day-by-day basis for the most part. It just takes you filling out that information in those other places on the application, and then you can get a match. So most of these scholarships will take you external to the application, so you can fill out on that website. But again, there is matching based on your information, and we plan to continue to grow these scholarship opportunities. I'm not sure what the answer to your question is, Meg. I'm so sorry. A little bit about our direct admissions program. This is quite new and it allows universities, colleges and universities to essentially offer you admission to their university on a conditional basis, right? So they see your information in Common App and they offer you a letter of admission. Generally, it's by first generation low middle income students. So again, it's coming from your information and it depends on your GPA as well. So these offers will come with no application fee. And generally they come with a financial aid package. In addition, you won't be asked to write a personal essay or give any recommendation requirements. So what will happen is when you open your My Colleges tab, the information will be, the direct admissions office will be at the top, and you'll have to, well, once you open your dashboard, the information will be at the top, and you can add the colleges and universities to your My Colleges tab to apply to them. So when you open your dashboard, you will see the offers if you have any, and they will be, then from there you can explore the college and add them to your dashboard. Once you've received those offers, you can submit to those colleges for free. And again, you should get some pretty good financial aid offers from those colleges. You also, again, won't need any letters of recommendation for these. Once you've created your account again and filled out your parents' information, your home address, your fee waiver response, and your GPA, these direct admissions offers will happen all year. So I think it should start in September and then continue throughout the rest of the year. Okay. Finally, we'll talk about some tools you can use. We have a bunch of video tutorials on YouTube. We are on X and TikTok as well. But if you are having specific trouble and you learn better from a video, I would suggest going to YouTube. There's a walkthrough for first year students that I've done. And we have a few others just talking about essay prompts and questions from other people that work here at Common App. Pretty straightforward stuff, and that can be found at Common App Media on YouTube. In addition to that, we have a few website resources. These can be found throughout the commonapp.org website. This is what some of the planning resources look like. All of them are PDF ready and in English and Spanish. If you need to have a conversation about why college matters, if you need to have a grade level checklist, or even just an application guide or family resources, this is where it can go. This is where you can go to find that information. I saw a question that says, who is eligible for commissions? Yeah, right. So yeah, it just depends on the university. Each one is a little bit different, but the university can't know your information until you fill it out. So it really depends on the university. We have over 100 schools, 100 universities, colleges, universities now, and we intend to keep on adding more and more. So you need to fill out the information first, and then you will get some direct admissions offers. Again, we have FAFSA information on our website now. We have scholarship information now. A big one is also our net price calculator, so you can figure out how much it's going to cost. And then that Common App fee waiver information, all of that can be found on the Paying for College tab. Pretty simplistic, pretty straightforward. Again, if you are having an issue with financing college, or you need to learn more about financing college, you don't know where to start, Paying for College, the Paying for College tab is a great place to start and learn. There's a plethora of resources. Finally, if you need a little bit more help, once you fill out your basic information, you can get a Strive mentor. It's a one-to-one mentorship, and the person will be with you to and through college. So it'll be a long-term relationship. They can help you apply to college, help you with financial aid, help you with time management strategies, studying, and then prepare you for internships and jobs. I think this is a very unique and highly coveted opportunity. If you really need a mentor, if you need just a little bit more assistance, long term, anyone can get a Strive mentor. Okay. Finally, we have 24/7 support. If something happens in your application, know that Strive is free, absolutely free. There's 24/7 support. If you have a problem, just appsupport.com. If you're a recommender and are having a problem, it's recsupport.commonapp.org. With any problem you have, again, it's 24/7. So you just open that chat function there in the bottom right of the page and type in what the issue is. There's also a bunch of frequently asked question like forums that'll pretty much answer any question you can have. But if you can't find that, or if you have some other issue, please do use the app support resource. It's pretty fast. Normally works within 24 hours. Yeah, connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, IG, X, TikTok, YouTube. We're in all those places. Feel free to have fun and learn. And that is the deck. I think there was one question about the Naviance integration for recommenders. Kate, if you could answer that. I'm not actually sure how that works for you all.
Yeah, so in our schools, if the recommender works in your school, you always make the request in Naviance. You can't do that until you're officially a senior, but you'll go into your Naviance account and you'll make the official request of your teacher through Naviance. But if you have an outside recommender, this may change a little bit by school, but Common App is only used for outside recommenders to make a request for a letter of recommendation. So if you have a mentor or a coach or somebody outside of your high school that you want to request a letter from, you can make that request in in Common App. Some schools do it a little bit differently. Sometimes I have the letter sent directly to me and I send it to the school, but that's just a personal preference. Make the request in Common App for any recommender that is outside of your high school. Are there any other CCICs on here who want to add or change that? Okay, so I guess we all kind of do it the same way. Hopefully that answers your question. Are there any other questions that we want to put in here for Amani? All right, well, I guess you've been extremely thorough. Thank you so much. So again, we have recorded this. This will be shared with your school, and we have lots of other workshops coming up. So I'm going to turn this off. So I hope you'll join